In America, you now go to work, get taxed on your income, get taxed on everything you buy, get taxed on your house when you buy it, get taxed on your house when you own it. In Missouri, we even have personal property tax on our cars. So then I buy a car, I have to pay tax, sales tax when I buy the car, thousands of dollars if you buy a new car. Then I have to pay personal property tax every single year on said car. And so people are opening up their mailboxes and finding this. This right here. This right here is how they're going to do it. Here we go. You're going to own nothing and be happy. I'm going to try in this video, within this 10-minute video, to walk you through how I think they're going to achieve the goal of you owning nothing and being happy. They're already programming it in the kids' minds, right? Like the schools, and now with cars, you know, you can just hit an app and you can, you know, go get someone's car that they're not using. You can use the car for a small fee and then leave. You got the Airbnbs. You can just pop in, stay for however long you want, and then you can leave. You have all this like ride sharing, right? So I have a friend of ours who has a business with boats, and it's the same kind of a thing. They just leave all the boats there at the lake, and then you have an app on your phone, and if you want to rent a boat, you just hit the app, and then you just go get the boat, and you have no cost of ownership, no storage. You don't have any of the maintenance, taxes, liabilities as far as ownership goes. And so the young kids, that's what they're getting in their mind, right? Like they don't want to own anything. They don't want to have to pay personal property tax and taxes, and they don't want to be upkeeping the place. And you know what I mean? Like they're just seeing it as a convenience, all the while not understanding that they're actually building no wealth. There's nothing to pass on to their heirs, to their family members, to their generations to come. It just all ends. When they're done, it's just it. They were just basically a consumer. And they just used, never built anything for longevity. Man, I'm just letting this stuff roll right off my head. And when I just listen to that, it just sounds so un-American, actually. Yeah, it just sounds not right. You should be able to build up and be proud of what you build up and then hand it to your family, the next generation. And you're like, be good stewards of this. You know, it was a lot of hard work, a lot of back breaking, a lot of tears, right? And so your family, when they get that and they walk around and they're like, man, you know, my dad put in this fence, and my dad, he built this log cabin with his own hands without any experience in 90 days. And, you know, look what my dad did here. And my dad set up this rainwater here. And my mom, she built this garden, and we always ate all of our food out of this garden. And it just feels so good for me to be here now. There won't be any of that. And I never had that. So maybe that's a thing inside of me that I'm yearning for that. That I want my boys to come to the land and to have it care for them as it cared for us. Man, I'm just saying all this stuff natural, no script, no nothing. And as I'm listening to it, what have we done? What has happened? Man, it used to be like, if you read the Founding Fathers' papers, like that was their dream they envisioned. Thomas Jefferson actually envisioned our country full of small land holders, people that made a living off of their land, and then who got together and had a collective voice on worldly matters, if you will, because they have a stake in it. Today, we don't have a stake in anything. People are just waking up and going through the motions. And look where it's getting us. Look, turn on your TV. Look where it's getting us. They're sexualizing your kids now in the public schools. Please, I implore you, if you have your children in public schools, I don't care if you think it's the best public school, get them out of the public schools. Learn to live off of one income, okay? The mothers, get home and raise your children. That is the most rewarding, it is your purpose. I mean, it is your purpose. That's why everything's so messed up. because we're trying to operate off of man's purpose, man's design, and not God's design. But I digress. Sorry if you came to see this video and you really want the information, but man, this stuff is on my heart. Like, I don't understand where we're at right now. Like, everyone... All right, so what we're going to talk about right now is how they're going to take this from you, how they're going to take everything that you've worked for through this unconstitutional act of property tax. Like, what are we doing? What happened? So I'm in Missouri. They have personal property tax. It's all over the news right now about personal property tax because St. Charles County, one of the counties in St. Louis, is experiencing a lot of growth. Okay, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I can maybe do that in another video. Leave a comment down below if you want me to do a video on that. Why one county in Missouri is growing so much while another one is dying. And I'll even maybe take you there and show you the differences. But that's the case. And so people are opening up their mailboxes and finding this.
In St. Charles County, there's a rude awakening for some homeowners in this hot housing market. Property taxes are going up an extra 25% in some cases. News 4's Alex Gall spoke to one family who's been rattled by the rising cost.
I was shocked that it was up so much.
The Kroll family has called this O'Fallon, Missouri house home for more than a decade. Now they're retired and living on fixed income. They just received this notice telling them they'll owe almost $1,000 extra this year in property taxes.
It tells you what you paid in 2022 and what you're going to pay in 2023.
$3,400 to $4,300, basically.
Right. It's a lot. It is.
Going up about $100,000 in just 2 years' time.
I'm just aggravated that you can get a letter in the mail that your taxes are going up 25%. And there's really nothing you can do about it.
Fallon realtor Lori Deppner tells News 4 their phones are ringing off the hook with worried homeowners with taxes increasing up to 30%. That's up to 6 times the normal increase. Kroll says it's even tougher for seniors like him on fixed incomes.
I'm afraid of what happens down the line, if it continues year after year after year.
But there may be some relief coming. The Missouri House passed a resolution that would freeze property tax rates once people turn 65 years old. If passed by the Senate, it would need voter approval. In O'Fallon, I'm Alex Gall, News 4.
The St. Charles County Association of Realtors tells News 4 that residents can challenge or appeal the assessed value. They encourage them to attend local meetings where tax rates are being discussed.
What are you going to do? What if your value of your house goes up $100,000 and now you have to pay the equivalent tax on that amount? And like these folks, you're retired. And then in 2 more years, it's going to go up. And in 2 more years, it's going to go up. And in 2 more years, it's going to go up. That's unsustainable. And now Missouri is actually trying to pass a law that says if you're over 65 years old, then they'll freeze your personal property tax on your house. Why don't we just get rid of it? Why don't we just get rid of it? Get rid of the personal property tax. It is fascism, communism, socialism, Marxism, all of it. If you go read their literatures, that's what they talk about. Implementing a small tax and then steadily raising it up, raising it up, raising it up. And then they take your stuff. Actually, there was just a story. Oh, man, I forgot about this, but I'll show you right now. There was actually just a story. The lady was an elderly lady, 70-something, 80 years old, maybe even 90. She took her case to the Supreme Court, and this is the case that went.
Christina Martin is Tawanda Hall's attorney. She and her legal team have found nearly 9,000 other families across the country in this same trouble.
It's just like if you owed me $14 and I reached in your wallet and I took everything, no matter how much was in your wallet.
This week, she argued one of her cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. A 94-year-old grandmother from Minnesota who owed $15,000. And when the county sold her condo for $40,000, they kept the change.
The government should never be allowed to take more than what it's owed. Yes, it can tack on the interest, penalties, and collection costs, but when it goes beyond that, that is unconstitutional. I hope the Supreme Court agrees.
Tawanda Hall's lawyers say that in the vast majority of these cases, the homeowners didn't have a mortgage, and they believe there's a reason for that. They argue that it's because the banks usually have a note on the home, and it's harder to foreclose on homes in that situation. The case that changed the law in Michigan is a real interesting one. It involved a homeowner who owed initially just $8 in unpaid taxes. The home was sold at auction for $25,000, and the homeowner didn't see any of that difference. The court reversed that sale, gave the home back to the homeowner. That case is under appeal. Steve Osunsami, ABC News, Atlanta.
Now, the personal property tax that I have right here, this is for the Missouri Tea Company.
Did you guys know that in the 16, 17, and 1800s, chocolate was consumed as a beverage? There was no such thing as a chocolate candy bar. Well, we're bringing chocolate tea back to the 21st century because it's loaded with antioxidants our body loves, and it's a great source of magnesium that's wonderful for bone and heart health. It's a great addition to your coffee machine or your French press, or just along with your favorite sweetener. You can find it on offgridwithdougandstacy.com, along with our brand new tea infuser, simple to use for easy steeping. Cheers!
Okay, we had to get a spot in town. It's an actual little business building because we cannot have food grade stuff at our house because we don't have any air conditioning, no controlled environment. All right, so I'll take you guys over there in a video coming up. I got my tax assessment on this property. It went up 110%. Last year's tax value was $38,260, and this year it's $69,380. I almost lost my marbles when I opened this up. I called our assessor immediately and spent over a half an hour on the phone with him, asking him, what are you doing? What are you even doing? And he tried to give me the rundowns on, you know, how they do their assessments and, you know, following the state guidelines. And I just let him have a good hard dose of reality, you know? Like, on the best day, that building will never bring in the money that he's saying because I just live in this little town of a couple thousand people. And so this right here is how they're going to do it. They're going to raise the property taxes on y'all. And you're going to be priced or taxed right out of your house. Okay? So what the news article said in the closing of the news article, I hope you paid attention to that, is to please, y'all, I know we don't like to be involved with the government. I know that. People that watch this channel, we're just not into it. You know what I mean? But we're going to have to get involved. It's time. It's time that we get involved, and we have to make this is the first line of defense, is going to the meetings and making our voices heard. I mean, I'm sitting there telling this guy, like, you're taking an anomaly and you're turning it into a regular event. Like, you're trying to take COVID and people leaving the cities because of all the tyranny that happened and coming up here and buying some property and overpaying for it. And then you're trying to use that data and punish me, a person who's lived in the community now for 15 years and has contributed to it, and I'm trying to better the community. So we have to get a handle on this. Or you guys are going to wake up and you're going to be forced out of your property because you can't afford, it's not that you can't afford the insurance, it's not that you can't afford the upkeep, it's not that you can't afford the siding or the new roof, but it's going to be that you can't afford the taxes. In America, you now go to work, get taxed on your income, get taxed on everything you buy, get taxed on your house when you buy it, get taxed on your house when you own it. In Missouri, we even have personal property tax on our cars. So then I buy a car, I have to pay sales tax when I buy the car, thousands of dollars if you buy a new car. Then I have to pay personal property tax every single year on said car. I mean, when is it going to stop? I have to pay tax when I buy food, tax when I buy clothes, tax when I buy gas, tax when I buy shoes, tax when I buy tires. So I just wanted to bring this information to you guys. But it is high time that we all start waking up and we all start getting involved and we start putting our foot down. Your grandkids and your great-grandkids are counting on you in this moment, right now. Because our grandparents and great-grandparents dropped the ball. I said it. They straight up dropped the ball. They should have never let them roll in all these taxes on us. Never. Okay? Never.